welcome. So happy to see you here. I decided to go ahead and do our loops and scoops because even if it's a holiday, and for some of you who don't live here in the States, you don't know that this is our Labor Day, but even on holidays, in fact, especially on holidays, people would like love and attention. So this is your chance to refill your reservoir, to get ready for moving into my favorite season. I love fall. I love the kind of crispness and awakening and cooler weather generally. Although here in Ojai, we're heading into what is often the hottest month of the year, but we've been very lucky with our heat so far this year. So just taking it day by day. So one of the things I wanted to share, there are a couple of things I wanted to emphasize today with our loop of awareness. One is that this image kept coming to me, so I'm going to share it with you. Some of you know about the Hoberman, which to me is such a great way of experiencing how giving attention to us changes our experience of inner space. So mostly, I think people have what I call a what's wrong problem. When we give attention to ourselves, we're looking for what's wrong. And when we give the kind of curious attention that we learn to do in loop of awareness, what happens is that those tight spaces get filled with space. And attention is one of the best ways that we can give space to something that's stuck. So speaking of stuck, just a moment. Do a little wiggle, do a little throat wiggle. In fact, if you've got any little places like that, do just a little wiggle jiggle around them. And see if that opens up any more space. So I'd love for you to turn your curious attention, which you can create with a turn your curious attention towards something in you that feels maybe a little dense or tight. And I'd like you to let your attention just swirl around and maybe thinking of your attention as a breath, that you land on a place inside and you let yourself take a breath of attention and then notice what wants to happen with any sensation, any movement. Yeah, and you may use, I'm noticing you using your hands on your face. You can definitely use your hands to assist you. And notice what happens if you just give attention. Like I have an area that's right at the top of my spine, sort of the junction between my shoulders and my neck. And that's often a place that gets scrunchier. And so I'm just imagining the Hoberman circle there. And I'm letting my breath expand out. And you can also let yourself breathe out any. So you can breathe in love and attention, and you can breathe out tension rather than attention. Beautiful. And now I'd like you to imagine that you've tossed the Hoberman out somewhere. It could be out just in the room, or it could be outside of your room, or it could be to a certain person. And I'd like you to let that land. And then again, let your breath and attention just expand what you're noticing when you give your attention out. Because we so often have our attention pointy. And what would it be like to let your attention be soft and expansive? And then let yourself shift from letting the Hoberman land on you and expand for a couple of breaths. I'm noticing as I do that I can actually feel more heat moving in my body. That was cool. So noticing that your attention actually has energetic and physiological components. It's very powerful. And at your own pace, letting your Hoberman land out and then letting it expand. And when it expands, it might want to then, it could also expand so that it includes both you and the outside. So just depending on how you're experiencing the contraction and the denseness. And then what happens when you let your curious attention land on it? So let's distinguish also curious attention from critical attention. So the attention we usually give ourselves is what's wrong with you now? And even when I say that, I can feel a kind of denseness that comes into my body. So what could you replace that with? What kind of hmm, what kind of thought could you replace that with when you're giving attention to you? Like, hmm, hmm, I wonder how you are now. That's one that just came to me. So let yourself play with a and then see what words you can have your left brain engaged with while you're letting yourself let the attention expand. Hmm, hmm, I'm noticing. What are you noticing? And what I found, if you're letting your attention go out again, what I found is that if I let my attention go fully out, that my presence becomes an invitation for the other person to expand. So I'm not over there in them, I'm over there creating space. So you can use the, I wonder how you are now. And I wonder how I am now. And then letting your curiosity just circulate in response to that, I wonder. I wonder how you are now. And the other thing, I've been reading some research lately that has been so affirming. I've actually been jumping up and down. I got so excited that you know how much I use my hands and how much in activities I have people use your hands. Well, the research says that increases your intelligence, your effectiveness, your connection, your ability to remember, and about 20 other things. So those of you who have always been told, would you stop using your hands so much? You can tell them, well, if you started using your hands, you might enjoy more connection, more effectiveness. So I want to invite you, especially when you're practicing, to let yourself use, okay, now I'm giving attention out, but I also am giving attention in, to remind yourself, because most of us are outer focusers. So to remind yourself, some attention for me. So attention out here and attention in here. So how I use my hands when I was first learning how to do loop of awareness is I would use both my hands like for me. And then I would use both my hands. And now I'm looking out, because here's another thing you can do with your hands. You can expand them. So you can let your attention go out and then expand your awareness. And then you can use your hand to go, oh, and now me. And letting yourself expand. So you can also, I'm giving attention to me and I feel a gritchy place, but I also feel a nice open place. And I can let my attention in me travel between those two places. I can let my breath travel between those two places. So I'm letting my inner world expand. And then I'm giving my attention into the outer world, and I'm letting myself interrupt patterns of attention, which unfortunately our addiction to devices has narrowed and narrowed and narrowed and fleed up into our heads with attention. So when you add your hands is a great way then to bridge to noticing and adding the more attention both out in the world and back to you. So when I was first starting, I would use both hands. But if you've been practicing for a while, you might want to use your hands alternating. So I'm giving attention here, and I can give attention to me while I'm giving attention out. Whoa, that's something that you can practice, and your hands can help you with that. So you can tap like, okay, here I am, I'm giving attention out. Oh, and here I am, and I'm giving attention out. And then now I want to just give a bunch of attention to me. And you can use your love scoops for that as well. So your love scoops, you can be loving an aspect of you that's been gritchy, and then you can love an aspect of you that's feeling very spacious. And you can bring both of those into your body wherever you're wanting some more love. What we know also from research is when you're doing love scoops, make sure to add your torso. Okay, so you let your reach include your torso, because that activates more of your physiology. That activates more of you enjoying. Yes, enjoying attention. And what I'm noticing as I'm looking is that it looks like there's more fluidity happening. So a lot of what happens, I think, when we narrow our attention is that we get sort of dry and narrow and sort of raggedy, glitchity. And so if you let yourself play with loop of awareness and love scoops as a way of landing and expanding, landing and meeting wherever you're feeling contracted, because we tend to criticize ourselves. So not only is there what's wrong with you, but then it's what's wrong with you and would you just get over it, rather than, oh, something is wanting this kind of attention. So notice what kind of attention your body is most responding to, your brain is most responding to. What kind of attention would your feelings like today? Where in your body are there any narrow places that you haven't been really feeding with your attention? Like mine went right to my lower back, just below my waist. And so now I'm going to do a love scoop that's like breaststroke and bring some attention to my lower back. And I'm also noticing that the quality of touch, that we rarely touch ourselves except functionally, like, to especially take care of something that's wrong, like, hairs on my chin. I was taking care of hairs on my chin today, like, oh man. But rarely do we give ourselves just loving, yeah, just a little more, a little more. So notice, this could be a great week for you to notice the signals of what kind of attention that you would like. And then I always find that my mind will then go to someone that I know and I go, oh, they're wanting some attention. So as you've been doing that, do just another, like, noticing in your community, is there anybody whose image or name comes to you so you can give some loving attention to them? We have someone in our community whose father just died yesterday, and so I'm giving attention to her and to all of the connections, how many connections one life has, and letting that honoring breathing with, letting sadness or whatever feelings flow. And then giving a big, big love scoop to you for being the kind of person who's willing to learn how to give and receive even more love, because that's really the big purpose of our work and our lives. And so, as we're ending today, I'd like you to just affirm that you're willing, or you want to, or you commit to expanding your capacity every day for giving and receiving more love. That's the commitment that I come home to. I say, yes, I'm willing to expand my ability, my capacity to give and receive more love every day. So thank you so much for being on this journey. And I'm going to go ahead and exit right now. And you're welcome to continue looping. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah.